Why did humans start having sex in private? There was a time before bedrooms, before doors, before curtains, before the idea that a person could disappear into a private room and close the world outside. For most of human history, our ancestors lived in open spaces, small camps, shared fires, temporary shelters, caves, grasslands, forests, places where everyone could hear movement. Everyone could see who sat beside whom. Everyone knew who slept near the fire. In that world, privacy was not normal. Privacy was difficult. And yet, today, one of the most natural acts in life is also one of the most private. Humans hide it. We lower our voices, we close doors, we look for distance, we expect privacy almost automatically. So here is the strange question. When did sex become private? Because for most animals, mating is not hidden. It happens in the open. In trees, in grass, in water, in the middle of the group. But humans are different. At some point, our ancestors began to step away from the eyes of others. Not because they had bedrooms, not because they had written rules, not because someone had carved a law into stone, but because something inside human social life had changed. The body was no longer the only thing involved. The mind was involved. The group was involved. Other people's eyes were involved. And that may be where privacy began. At first, the answer seems obvious. Maybe humans hid sex because they became ashamed. Maybe they felt embarrassed. Maybe culture taught them that sex should be hidden. Maybe religion told them to cover it. Maybe rules turned a natural act into a secret one. That explanation makes sense for much of modern life. But it comes too late. Written laws came late. Formal religions came late. Permanent houses came late. Doors came late. The human need for privacy may be much older than all of them. Long before cities, temples, marriage certificates, or bedrooms, small human groups were already living inside complicated social worlds. And in those worlds, sex was never just sex. It could change relationships. It could create jealousy. It could affect children. It could shift trust. It could pull two people closer together. It could push others apart. So maybe sexual privacy did not begin as morality. Maybe it began as social pressure. Imagine a small prehistoric camp at night. A fire burns low in the center. Around it, bodies rest close together for warmth and safety. Children sleep near adults. Tools lie beside the fire. Someone keeps half an eye on the darkness. There are no walls, no separate rooms, no locked doors, no private corners. The group is protection, but the group is also always watching. In a small band, your life is visible. Who you share food with, who you laugh with, who you avoid, who you sleep near, who looks at whom for too long. None of it is completely private. That means relationships are public. And when relationships are public, they can become dangerous. Because humans do not only see behavior, humans interpret behavior. We ask what it means. We remember it. We compare it. We talk about it. Even without written language, even without formal rules, the human mind is built to notice social patterns. Who is close? Who is trusted? Who is jealous? Who is being left out? Who belongs with whom? That may be one reason sex became private. Not because the act itself was wrong, but because being seen could create consequences. A glance could become suspicion. Suspicion could become anger. Anger could become conflict. And in a small group, conflict was not a small thing. A fight was not just a fight. It could weaken cooperation. It could divide families. It could break trust. It could make hunting harder. It could make food sharing harder. It could make child care harder. For a small prehistoric group, social peace mattered, not in a soft modern sense, in a survival sense. A group that could not cooperate was a group in danger. So stepping away may have been useful. A little distance, a darker place, a moment when others were sleeping, a place behind trees, behind rocks, beyond the firelight. That may have been the first kind of sexual privacy. Not a room, not a rule, just distance from the group. But there is another layer. Humans form bonds, deep bonds, long bonds, complicated bonds, and human children are unusually dependent for a very long time. A newborn human cannot survive alone. A child needs food, protection, warmth, teaching, and years of attention. That made cooperation important, not only between mother and child, but between adults, between partners, between relatives, between the whole group. Sex for humans became connected to more than reproduction. It became connected to attachment, to loyalty, to partnership, to family, to belonging. And when sex becomes connected to belonging, being watched becomes more complicated. Because other people can read it as a signal. This person chooses that person. This bond is stronger than that bond. This relationship may change the group. This child may belong to this pair. This alliance may matter tomorrow. That is very different from a simple biological act. In humans, sex became socially meaningful. And meaningful things often become protected. A meal can be public. A joke can be public, a hunt can be public, but some moments become too socially charged to be fully exposed. Not because they are dirty, but because they are powerful. So privacy may have protected more than the body. It may have protected the relationship around the body. It may have reduced conflict. It may have protected trust. It may have allowed intimacy to happen without turning the whole group into witnesses. And then there is the deepest part. The human mind can imagine being watched. This seems simple, but it is enormous. A human does not only see another person, a human can imagine what that other person sees. We can think, they are looking at me. They may remember this. They may judge this. They may tell others. They may feel hurt. They may feel jealous. They may think differently of me. This ability changes everything. Because privacy begins inside the mind before it becomes a place. A wall is not privacy unless someone wants separation. A door is not privacy unless someone feels there is something to close. Before humans built private rooms, they may have already carried a private self, a part of the mind that knew. Some things are different when others are watching. That may be the real beginning. Not shame exactly. Not law. Not religion. But awareness. The awareness of other eyes. The awareness that the group can see, and that being seen can change what something means. This is why the question is so hard to answer. There is no fossil of privacy, no bone that tells us when two people first walked away from the fire. No footprint that says this was the first private moment. Archaeology can show shelters, tools, burials, art, fireplaces, bones, but it cannot easily show embarrassment. It cannot easily show jealousy. It cannot easily show the first feeling of wanting not to be seen. So we have to be careful. Scientists cannot know the exact moment when sex became private. There was probably no single moment. No first couple. No first rule. No first doorway. It was likely gradual. A behavior that grew out of living together. The more social humans became, the more privacy mattered. The more relationships mattered. The more being seen mattered. The more the group remembered, judged, and reacted, the more some things needed distance. At first, privacy may have been temporary. A walk away from camp. A hidden place near trees. A quiet moment after others slept. A pause beyond the glow of the fire. Privacy was not architecture yet. It was behavior. Later, when humans built stronger shelters, those behaviors could become physical spaces. Walls, partitions, rooms, doors. But the instinct came first. The need came before the bedroom. And the need may have been born in the tension between two human truths. Humans need the group, and humans need separation from the group. We need to be seen, and sometimes we need not to be seen. We need belonging, and sometimes we need privacy inside that belonging. That tension is ancient. It did not begin in modern homes. It did not begin with cities. It may have begun around fires, in small camps, where every sound carried and every relationship mattered. Think of two early humans stepping away from the group. Not far, not forever, just far enough. Behind a rock, past the edge of firelight, into a quieter part of the night. The act itself was ancient, older than humans, older than language, older than culture, but the decision to hide it may have been new. That decision says something. It says, other people matter. Their eyes matter. Their reactions matter. Their reactions matter. This bond matters. This moment means something different when the group is watching. And maybe that is the hidden story of sexual privacy. It was not only about sex, it was about society. A body can mate in the open, but a social mind asks who is watching. A body follows desire, but a human mind imagines consequences. A body lives in the present, but humans live in memory, judgment, jealousy, attachment, and meaning. That is why sex became private. Because humans became more than biological creatures. They became social creatures, meaning-making creatures. Creatures who could feel the weight of another person as gaze. And maybe that is why privacy still feels so natural today. Not because it is simple, but because it protects something complicated. It protects vulnerability. It protects closeness. It protects bonds from becoming public conflict. It gives the self a small space away from the group, and that may be one of the oldest human inventions. Not the house, not the bedroom, not the door, but the decision to step away. The first private place may not have been built. It may have been chosen. A patch of darkness, a quiet distance, a place beyond the firelight, and maybe, long before humans had words for shame, morality, or privacy, they already understood something deeply human, that some moments change when they are watched, and some bonds need a place where the group cannot see.